Nation. We'll call this the Zen Flow. It's kind of hoodie weather. Cage and I called each other this morning, and I was like, "It's kind of cold here in Florida." And Cage is like, "Yeah, it's kind of cold here in New York." So it's hoodie weather. It's Halloween time. Everything's good. There's tons and tons and tons of sports. Cage is probably 3, 4, 5 stogies in. So got a ton to talk about, man. A ton to talk about. Basketball. There were some soccer games today. Your hair looks amazing.
I miss Melo. Now I put the hoodie on. Yeah, no. I mean, we're starting the season with no Carmelo. I mean, that's kind of sticking out to me. We talk about hoodies and no Carmelo Anthony.
You said that yesterday too.
I like that guy. I'm a Carmelo fan. I mean, I'm tangentially, I guess I was a Knick fan in the 80s and the 90s, and Jordan just ripped out our heart all the time. And it was nice. I remember when Carmelo came here, and, he's just somebody I pulled for. It's funny, I remember when LeBron came in the league, and I remember Melo was like, that's always been kind of my MO. Like, I never went for the Edwards. I went for the LaMelo. I never went for LeBron. I went for Carmelo. I didn't go for, Chris Webber. I was a Penny Hardaway guy. Like the guy
How'd that work out for you?
On Penny, decent. LaMelo Ball remains to be seen. The Carmelo Anthony one was that didn't work out well at all.
Was he ever cardboard relevant?
I mean, I think he was. When he was playing there for Denver for a while there, they had a decent team. When he came to the Knicks, there was a whole big, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Remember that whole thing? And, he came home. He just forgot to bring some defense with him. But yeah, I mean, listen, history takes time. I mean, Dwayne Wade, his prices may do something down the road. People may, grow to appreciate what kind of great player he was. And maybe it won't. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I miss Melo at the beginning of the season. But here's what I want to know from you.
Tell me.
Yeah. Will there be any game on the slate today where there's not a 30-point scorer?
Oh, we're doing this. Remember, we talked for like 2 hours today. We must have covered like 100 different topics.
Two different conversations.
The history of we talked twice today. Oh yeah, that's right. You were putting out fires at work. It's been a busy work week. They're taxing that ass.
Yeah, and then I took care of some stuff at home too. It's nice. The pool's still open. I got to get that taken care of. Get the patio furniture in and that kind of stuff. It's too cold. I was going to think about going to the pool today, but it was like 40-something degrees this morning. The pool was probably pretty darn cold.
Here's a fun fact about Cage. He plays a costume, like he wears a costume of a lawyer, but he's actually a glorified salesperson. Fun fact. Learned that about him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's all sales. Life is sales. Someone's always selling.
He is Napoleon Hill. He is basically the Napoleon Hill, the king of persuasion.
You have, I mean, every time there's a call, right? Someone's always selling. You're either selling them, or they're selling you on a reason why there's a no. Right? Isn't that Boiler Room?
Cage and I, we had a cool conversation this morning. So we're going through like the perils of history of the NBA, and we were like, how many points a game was the most Kobe ever averaged? It was 35.4. And we're like, right. How much did his team average that year? And it was
the reason why we started, remember, was I said last night, basketball is the greatest for the hobby. Everyone's happy. And I said there were 4 teams that played last night. Harden had 35. He had 22 at halftime. Tatum and Brown both scored 35. Steph Curry and LeBron each had 30. And I said, this is why people love basketball, because any given day, any one of their stars, you'd be looking for LeBron. Wow, LeBron's 127 years old, and he put up 31 or 33, 14 and 8. And, the Bron testicles come out and they say, wow, no one's ever done what Bron's doing at this age. Well, no one's ever played at this age with this type of basketball. And Andrew went down a little rabbit hole, and he thought it was 1 year, but it turned out to be another year where Kobe averaged 35 and the team averaged 97 per game. And do you remember what rank they were in the league? This was 2007 maybe?
This is 2005. They were the third highest ranked. Third highest.
So they were top 5, top 7, something like that. But, he scored 35 points out of 97. So the first part about that conversation, what's amazing is, it's one thing to score 30 when your team's scoring 140. But if you score 35 a game when your team's scoring 97, that's an interesting thing, right? That's a little different. It's a different game. It's a different sport, right? And then Andrew really went down the rabbit hole because I said this is why people love it. Like the game, whether there's fouls, free throw shooting, just everyone chucking threes, whatever the reason is, it's all offense now, and everybody's putting up these video game type numbers. And do you remember what you did? You said, "Ark, you went through the last couple of years, and who was the lowest scoring teams?" So back then, and we're not talking that long ago, during Kobe's playing days, if you averaged 100 points a game, you were in the top 3 scoring teams.
In 2011, 2012, there were 3 total teams over 100 points per game in 2011 and 12.
15 was the turning point, remember?
Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Denver. Oklahoma City was averaging 103 points a game, San Antonio 103, and Denver 104. Every other team was under 100 points per game 10 years
ago. Yep. And if you go back to the 2015 season, there were only a couple of teams that averaged over 100 points a game. And then Steph won. Steph and Clay won, chucking. And you go to last year and the year before, and what Andrew found was every team averaged over 100 points. Every single team. It used to be you were top team in the league if you cracked 100. Now 103 is like you're last in the league.
That literally is the Curry effect. When they say Curry changed the game, you see it. If you just go through from like 2010 all the way to 2020 and the scoring, it's kind of mind-blowing. Do you appreciate Curry more seeing that?
I mean, his legacy on the game, sure. I think I would appreciate Kobe, Jordan. I appreciate those guys more. The people who were averaging 30 points a game when there weren't as many points to be had. There weren't as many shots being taken. There weren't a different game.
35% of the team's points versus 25.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's 2 guys scoring 35 points, it's insane. You know what I mean? It really is. Whereas 35 would be like, wow, he's the best player in the league. Now you're not even scoring top on your team. I mean, it's pretty nuts.
Something that frustrates me, it's you poll any half intelligent fan, Embiid is the number 1 guy on that Sixers team, right? And Maxey is like this up and coming youngster. How do you explain? Like, is this bad coaching? Is this just huge egos in the NBA? Yesterday, Harden had more dribbles, basically more usage since his MVP season. Now, how do you process that? Because to me, that's really annoying as a fan.
What, that Harden's getting more usage than Embiid? Is it annoying as a fan or is it annoying as an Embiid card collector?
I'm not an Embiid card collector. I have 1 Embiid card. It's annoying as like I want this team to do well and win and find the recipe for success. And that recipe is Embiid gets fed. Harden is a playmaker first to score second. And I think Maxey is more than capable of being the number 2A option with Tobias Harris being a 3 and Harden finding his spots versus like Harden comes out and he just starts shooting and nobody else finds their way into the game. So the
Celtics had a very good game plan, and it wasn't until late in the 3rd quarter, early 4th, where a ball was jumped into Embiid where he just had Horford on him by himself. The Celtics' help defense was very, very good. They knew that the game plan for the Sixers would be exactly what you wanted it to be. And that forced a lot of moving the ball out to Harden. And not every team's going to be able to do that. Horford's a decent defender, but if you watch that one play, even the announcer said it, because Embiid just ate his lunch. Like, he did a little half a dream shake. He dropped shoulder to the left, turned right, and was just past Horford. Easiest layup I've seen since, I played against Ian. And the announcer's like, that's the first time in the game that they've allowed, him to go one-on-one. And it was because the game was almost like out of hand already. You know what I mean? Like,
so does that mean that Harden doesn't have the point guard, the IQ to be able to find other players and get them involved in the game?
Well, who else do you want him to get involved? I mean, Maxey, I love Maxey's potential.
Maxey's fantastic.
I know everybody loves Maxey, and he scrambles and he runs around. He looks directionless out there sometimes. He looks like he's more intent on like running in circles rather than, actually forcing the action, being aggressive and taking the ball to the hoop. Now, this is just my take after watching them all play. I watched the entire game last night so that we could talk today. I watched both
Maxey
games.
looks directionless?
Yeah, Maxey runs around. He is like the Energizer Bunny. But sometimes I want to yell at the television, like, okay, go the other way, like go towards the basket. What are you doing running in circles? You trying to get you're trying to get everybody tired, trying to get yourself tired. Like he doesn't look aggressive. He doesn't look like he wants to take it to the rack. He doesn't look like he's looking for a shot. And maybe that's because there are people on his team who are supposed to be the MVP and who have already won the MVP. So he's a little, gun shy, but he does not look like he's a shoot first. You watch, like, I'll compare him to Jordan Poole, your guy, who's also a young up-and-coming guy with stars on his team. When Poole gets a ball in his hand, he's either shooting it or he's driving and creating a shot for himself. Very, very decisive when the ball comes his way. Maxey, no. It's a difference. So Tobias Harris, great.
Our whole team is kind of indecisive then by that respect. I would say Embiid and Harden are pretty indecisive as players.
Embiid, I watched Embiid's game last night. He's talented. Nobody can take away from the fact he's talented.
He's annoying though, right?
He's a flopper. He's like a very large Neymar. He's a flopper, and he plays dirty. And he could have broken Smart's arm. And I'm a Smart fan, even though I hate Boston. I'm not no love loss of
Boston. Could have broken that Noah's nose on that one drive too.
I mean, it was he plays dirty. Vonleh, yeah. But look, if your answer is they need to solve for getting Embiid open with the ball on the block in the paint, yes, they do. If that's passing out to Harden and then Harden passing it back in or whatever it is, I mean, triangle offense, whatever you're going to run, yeah.
The reality is Doc never really had a very creative offense. So it is on Doc. And that's how it's going to be. But you know something I did think about with basketball and basketball season being back? Before this run-up, and we could talk about cards that people are posting that are back to 2018, 2019 prices, maybe being a good buy, hint, Bowman Chrome, what's his name? Mike Trout. But something I thought about before this run-up, what comes with run-up? Volume, people, demand, right? Mm-hmm. We needed to wait for season to start to sell into strength because there was no strength other months, right? We always talk about sell into strength. What I'm seeing recently, what's frustrating to people, isn't that comps are down. It's that there isn't any strength in buying. Right? Like it's different when you sell into strength, you list it on your story and people gobble it up in an hour versus like you have to like really find buyers. And it got me thinking like before this run up, before all this demand, is that what people waited for? Season to start, sell into strength.
Yeah. I mean, basketball is one of those great things where the games are played almost every day, every other day. It's not baseball-ish, but it's got the right number of games. Like football, all right, people sell on the run-up to the season. Then it's like 1 week. All right, well, my quarterback was great. My quarterback sucked. Buy, sell. Right. 2 weeks. It's you got to wait a whole week. Basketball, it's season started. Let's go. All right, well, if Curry starts off, 5-0 and he's averaging 33 points, people are going to be looking for Curry cards. Jordan Poole has a couple of bad games. All of a sudden, you might get some bargains on Jordan Poole cards. I mean, it's amazing how that works, even though 5 games is not even 10% of the season. It's like 5% of the season, but still, there's a lot here. You start to get a real sample size, and yeah, I mean, basketball is exciting, man. It's got a lot of stuff going for it. I understand why it has become the go-to sport for collecting, right? And while we're seeing an uptick in offense,
I think for investing, no.
All of it, I think, right? I mean, for investing to survive, there still has to be a collector base who's ultimately going to want those cards. Maybe not at flipping prices, but you still need that collector base to build on. But the funny part, what I say about basketball is, here we are, score. Football, it's 2/3 of the games, over 60% of the games so far this year have finished under. If you were to just bet the under on every game so far in the NFL, you'd be making plenty of money, which is just insane because that's not what you want. You don't want to have a week where Justin Herbert plays in a primetime game and doesn't throw a single touchdown. The guy who owned the $1.8 million Herbert card does not want to see that. He wants to see Herbert throwing 5 touchdowns.
He owns Josh Allen and Mahomes. He has a little flavor. He has different sprinkles,
All right.
different
Well,
seasonings depending on who does well.
I mean, with offense down across the league, none of them are really, Jalen Hurts. It's Jalen Hurts right now. So,
What's Ian ripping this Friday? What have you guys been ripping?
ooh, I don't know. We've done Pokemon the last 2 weeks. There's a comic store a couple blocks away from our house that just does comics, no sports cards at all. And they also stock TCG cards. They have MetaZoo. They have Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. So we've got Lost Origins is the most recent Pokemon set. So we've opened some of that. He got a good card last time. A black and gold Pikachu chase card. Pretty nice.
Did your guy call you about National Treasure Soccer?
Which guy? Oh,
Your
no.
LCS guy.
No. He's out this week. His son's getting married. So his store is closed for the whole week. So he didn't
For the
call me
whole
the
week?
National Treasure.
Did you call him and be like, I could run the store for you?
No. He's allowed to take off for his son's wedding. He doesn't have to do. He doesn't have to
Close
be
the
open.
That's what the LCSs don't know. The retail, man. You got to be there 24/7 almost.
I mean, this guy doesn't. These people will wait. It's a very small store.
All right. Well, we got basically every single team is playing today except for the Clippers. So I'm pumped. I'm going live on Whatnot. We're doing mystery packs tomorrow. Today we're doing a mail day. Mail days are even more fun than mystery pack days because we just get to chat shit with the people in the audience, talk NBA predictions, all that stuff. So I'm very, very, very much excited.
So what are 2 or 3 cards that you're excited that you got in the mail today? You don't have to show them. Just a couple cards you got in hand, and you're like, "Oh, this is nice." Did you get any CSG cards?
Yeah, ton of CSG cards.
And what's that slab like in hand?
I'm like blondes, brunettes, redheads. I'm not like I've never been that dude. Like the more the merrier. CSG, SBC, BGS, PSA, whatever looks, it's value. It's value. So Revolution, ton of Revolution cards. Your favorite brand, like value brand. No, my favorite pickup. Honestly,
Revolution.
I sort of something annoys me about the hobby, or maybe this is how the hobby is now. It's so monkey see, monkey do. Like if you post a card that like isn't like the in demand NT card, you don't get love. But I think I've got a better buy than any NT. Like I got this Curry.
I love that. I did a like on that one when you posted it. I put a little heart.
I mean, you should, but think about this: a numbered Curry on card auto, game worn patch.
That's sweet. But the problem is that's 2010. They did not have any orange jerseys during that year. So clearly it's a jersey swap. Somebody has messed with that card.
Yes, so I thought about that. I was like, could they have had an orange jersey that year? Why is it orange? So I've thought about that 100%. Let's take that into consideration. It might be a jersey swap.
No, I'm kidding. No one's swapping that jersey out. No one's spending time swapping out that card. They swap out like RPAs and stuff. No one.
I hear you. I was like, orange. What is that?
Look at the picture. There's orange in the picture.
Yeah, maybe like the old school jerseys.
Yeah, it's the ones that have like the weird looking warrior in it. Like it's like orange and blue.
On card auto, second year Curry, game worn, numbered, $450. Now I set the comp. I think that's $1,000 card.
It's not $450. You didn't pay for it. You paid $950. Why are you telling people to comp?
I always tell people to comp because I love getting deals. Deals.
You are so not creative. Because now somebody wants a deal on your deal.
Yeah.
When you try to move that card, it's going to be
off.
$375 now. And you just got to take a haircut. It's ridiculous. What are you doing, man?
I'm learning the market, but I gotta. I mean, Card Ladder does the comps anyway. Everyone sees what I paid.
No comps. There's no comp on that card, everyone. It was $4,000. There's missing a 0 on the Card Ladder. It's a typo. No?
I'll move. I'll trade. We're going to Chantilly this weekend. I'm bringing the cards. We're gonna make moves. If any of you guys are gonna be in the Virginia area and want to stop by, come say what's up. You guys have my cell phone number. You could DM us on Instagram. Cage will be in attendance Saturday. He's doing like the old business executive move. Red eye in the morning, leave at night. Just a boss play.
I'll be there
Before
for
we
trade night a little bit. Yeah. Hey now.
Before we wrap, what's good? I mean, I know the hobbies. I'm having fun, man. I think, dig holes, like sometimes like the boring stuff, like carry water, chop wood. This is that time where there's maybe not a ton of action, but like the behind the scenes, the iceberg that nobody sees is being formed. The roots are growing. So I love periods of time like this when everyone is maybe relaxing, lounging, and our community is putting in the work to separate themselves.
I mean, there are some major cards for auction. The Premier Auction has some crazy stuff in it. And, it looks like there's a swing towards, some memorabilia and that kind of stuff as well. Kobe sneakers or in PWCC Premier, I say this because it ends tomorrow. A lot of people will be listening to this be the day that it ends. I'll tell you,
find out what truly incredible cards are in this, right? Because when everything goes up, everything's incredible. What are truly incredible cards? I think we'll find out.
Yeah, they have an incredible Brady. Even with Brady cards, and Brady stock going down. They have I think it's a BGS 9 with a 10 auto, the championship ticket out of 100, and I think it might be like $2 million or something like that. Like it's a really nice Brady if you take a look at that one. And they got a Braun RPA, they got a Trout red out of 5. The one that the superfractor, the superfractor was like $4 million or $3 million and change. They got 1 out of 5.
How much is that at?
Last I looked, it was $500,000 plus buyer's premium. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7 figures, just because they're, there's 5 of them. So just they have some really nice cards in Premier. So
Trout is the Jason Tatum of baseball. Every year is Trout's next year.
Listen, I heard the radio station today that I listen to here, a local sports station, saying how they were talking about Embiid, and they said Tatum wins the MVP this year. And I'm like, okay.
Shooting guards don't win MVPs. It has nothing to even do with that. Shooting guards don't win MVPs. Yeah.
He's not really a shooting guard, though, is he?
Yeah, he doesn't ball handle.
That's play positionless. He's sort of like a small forward, center. We'll play basketball.
His passing yesterday was a lot better. Some of his drive.
I've crapped on Tatum. He had some very nice facilitating moves. That team, I don't like the Celtics. I don't like Boston teams, but the Yankees can win the World Series, so I could whatever. It is what it is. Tatum looked good. The team looks good. They all filled their roles. Like Horford doesn't need to score. He plays good defense. He's team leader. Marcus Smart, I'm a fan of Smart. The guy, there's nothing fake about him except his green hair now. He plays the role he needs to play. He doesn't have to score 30 unless they need him to score 30, and he can.
They're so inconspicuous, that team, but like they really just know their roles. And they don't have weaknesses, and now they have like Malcolm Brogdon. We're just like he's like playing what's that game?
Pop a shot.
He literally looks like his shooting is pop a shot, and he doesn't miss.
You would think a weakness of that team would be a big inside offensive player like an Embiid to exploit them, but they play good team defense and they pester him. I would say that they are a good matchup against Golden State unless Golden State brings Wiseman along and he can really cause some problems inside, because they don't really have anybody else who can do that. Draymond pester. The thing is, like, in that crunch time, I think you can get under their skin. Like Smart gets under people's skin, but like I think Tatum and Brown, I think they can get easily like riled up. So
you're older.
We'll see. I was impressed by them. It's one game, it's one game. They're at home. It's nothing. But Tatum was making difficult shots. I got to give the kid credit. I've not been a huge Tatum, investor and pricing and the whole deal. I've said, I'd be a sell on Tatum. I like some of his cards, though. Some of the flawless stuff's nice. I like the green parallels on Prism for him because nobody wants to buy them, but they're a really cool looking color match. I like certain Tatum, buys that are out there. The West 1 to 8, I don't know. The East 1 to 8, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is we're 24 minutes in. We don't want to go more than a half an hour because people want to, they want a nice quick hitter. But you wanted to give analysis on basketball, and I didn't let you yesterday. So it's 1 to 8.
You read Joseph Whiting's comment.
Yes, Joseph Whiting's the man. I love that guy. He comments on every one of our YouTube videos. We do watch that stuff, guys. We do pay attention. And as we're recording, the Phillies have a 4-3 lead. It was 4-2. Juan Soto is up with first and third and one out. It is crunch time here. Hey,
I posted all my NBA updates.
I saw them.
Comment on the story. Comment on the post.
No, don't. Give me one team that no one's talking about in each conference that you think I'm not saying they're going to, I was going to hold you to, can surprise to the upside. Either a team that everyone expects to be in the 5 to 8 range, but will finish in the 1 to 4, or a team that people are expecting to finish outside of the playoffs, but may actually sneak in. Like last year, you were the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies finished much higher than anybody thought, except you. Everybody else thought they'd be a bottom half of the Western Conference playoffs, and you had them right up there in the top. Give me one team. Give me a team that people are not as high on as they should be.
I mean, I think the Clippers. Honestly, fuck the Nets. The Nets are really, really, really well positioned. They were able to ride all of their egotistical drama. Like, when you have an abusive relationship, right? And either verbally, physically abusive. In the beginning, it's all good. You just have crazy, crazy stuff. And then it's like, what did I just get into? And if you're able to ride that, you're like, well, this is just normal life now.
Exactly.
So for them, they're all crazy. They just embrace it. They're like, let's just ride this till the wheels fall off. And fingers crossed, maybe that's in 2 years. So I think they're the ones that could they could surprise to the upside way more than anybody else because they're stacked with talent. And Ben Simmons fits that roster really well. They could surprise to the upside more than anybody.
I agree. I mean, 50-something wins, I think, for that team. So who the heck knows? Soto double down the line, tie game. Second and third.
Wow. Peace. Bye, Luca Nation. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month. And many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.